You in this battle, man, I'll soon be dead. I'll glue your face to my dick so I can fuck with your head. I got metaphors coming through my pores. You probably never been in a battle before, so I hope you realize your mistake. There ain't no party, got some candles, this will be a piece of cake.
Folks, welcome to the Before Hours podcast, an internet radio phenomenon featuring a sometimes occasional morning person. I ask the most interesting people I know about life, love, stress, setbacks, their morning routine, their schedule, and whatever else comes to mind. Please remember to write to the Before Hours podcast at gmail.com. Tell us about your morning routine, and I might talk about it on the air. But for now, we have the Big Dog of Comedy Fight Club, one half of Snack Attack, the King of New Jersey, and I hope I say this correctly, the BXG DXG Mark Henley.
That is correct. I am the BXG DXG of comedy, the Big Dog of Comedy Fight Club. Snack Attack, yeah, I'm going to be going to the Edinburgh Fringe Fest this year. I'm excited to be here because we're friends.
We are friends. I think that we'll be friends until one of us has to cut the other one out for expediency.
Yeah. Eventually, at some point, us hanging out, we're not gonna have time to do it anymore.
Yeah, because you're in the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, and that's a big deal.
Yes.
So the day is gonna come when you're walking down the street wearing shades, and I'm gonna wave to you, and you're not gonna wave back, and I'm gonna be understanding.
Is this like that song from the end of Breakfast Club?
Oh, don't you
forget about me. If you walked on by, would you call my name?
I think the weird goth girl in the Breakfast Club is hot.
Yeah, hotter than when she like loses being goth, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I agree too. I think they give her weird makeup when she stops being goth.
And the scene where she's like making it snow by scratching her head and there's dandruff coming down.
Yeah.
To me, I like a woman that's a little bit flawed. Mostly because I'm a lot bit flawed. You know what I mean? So it makes her like
what a cute way of saying it. Lot bit.
It's whimsical.
It's a real Rugrats way of saying it.
I'm like, officer, I'm just a lot bit flawed. He's like, I actually don't think it's cute at all. You still ran into a tree.
I'm just a lot bit on cocaine.
So you're the first person I thought of to have on the Before Hours podcast because we talk about our routine. And I feel like you're a routine guy.
Yes, I have always been a morning person. I'm like a crazy morning person where I wake up at like either like 6 or 7 or one of those times.
See, that's like unimaginable to me. And I'm less of a morning person, meaning like I consider myself a morning person because I naturally wake up at like 9 or 9:30.
Okay.
Which I still think is like, if most people had their druthers, they would sleep till noon, I think.
Yeah, not me. I don't like that.
6 a.m.
6. I like 6 because I get to. All right, so I start work generally at 9.
Mm-hmm.
So I like to wake up early enough that I can work out and then have breakfast and then watch an hour-long TV show.
That's so funny to me because it sounds real Jocko Willink until you get to the I watch TV for an hour.
Yeah, and I've cut it down to a 25-minute anime program. But for a while, like in pandemic, when like there were no rules to anything, I watched like a full 45-minute Star Trek every morning. And I would sip coffee and I would be like, I just consider morals.
Now you like Marcus Aurelius.
Yeah. That's how Star Trek is they'll go there and then they'll have like a bunch of people with weird alien makeup on and there'll be a morality play that happens. And then sometimes it's boring and sometimes it's interesting.
Okay.
Like sometimes you're there and you're like, these guys are dumb. And then sometimes you go there and you're like, what if we did kill all old people at 50?
Okay.
And then, it's an interesting one.
Now, see, you're a guy that revels, I feel like, in the nonsense. So in the Star Trek episodes that are nonsense, I feel like you're having just as much fun as the moral stories.
Yeah, sometimes there's one where like some alien keeps having sex with a girl at night and then she like falls in love with them. Okay. And I'm kind of like, I don't like this one as much, but I'm kind of in.
Because to break the fourth wall a little bit, we are friends. So sometimes I will go to your house in New Jersey and we'll watch TV and I'll go, Mark, this is bad. And you'll smile and say, it certainly is.
Yeah, we all hung out the other day and somehow I brought up Big Ange, who was like a reality star from like 10 years ago, who's probably been dead for 8 years. So she was a reality star for a bit, honestly. We do it all for Big Ange.
Matt and I haven't called you Matt once, which is impressive.
Yes.
Matt Marin, who I do another podcast with, and Mark Henley. Guys, and you may have already fucking figured this out by the fact that I can't talk, but I'm a little bit dumb. So the fact that Mark's name starts with M and my other friend Matt's name also starts with M, it's a little bit too much for me to handle. So Mark probably will correct me when I call him Matt, but if he doesn't, please note that his name is not Matt.
Yes.
Well, thanks for being on the podcast. I appreciate it.
I thought you were going to talk about Big Ange, but then you just completely changed it.
Big Ange. Okay, this is why. So Matt and I, Matt Marin, we got into a bit of a thing because he said he wouldn't fuck Big Ange.
Oh, yeah. So people that don't know, Big Ange was like a mob wife. She's on a reality show called Mob Wives. Like people that married mobsters, they like had a reality show, which I imagine some people thought was immoral to do that. To be like, hey, we married mobsters, you know, who people like murderers and thieves and stuff. Wouldn't it be fun if we followed around their wives as if they're the Kardashians?
So I think the fact that it is immoral makes it even more fun.
Yeah, I think that is fun. And then she was like this woman who had like all this plastic surgery, like, you know, like huge tits and lips and was real tan, but she talked like this legitimately. This was her voice and she would do that. And then like, I like mentioned her and you guys were like, I know Big Ange. And then there was like a 30-minute like of the best of Big Ange. And I was like, there's no way we make it past 2 minutes of this. But we watched like a straight up like 12 minutes of that.
And the whole time I'm like, her tits are big.
Yeah.
And Matt's like, I'm not having sex with this woman. And I'm like, but the fact that she has a disgusting face and big giant tits makes her attractive.
Matt also wasn't in the room when we decided to watch the Big Ange thing. So he missed the setup and then he leaves and he comes back and then we're all just wrapped watching some like weird, hideous goblin woman just be like, I love drinking with the girls. And we're all like, wow. And he's like, what are they doing? And then you're like, I would fuck her, wouldn't you, Matt? And he's like, what? Like, it wasn't even presented to him as the premise of like, this is some weird lady that we're gawking at. He was just like, just comes in and we're all like, because one of our friends, Brendan Puff, was like,
shout out to Brendan
smiling Puff. Like this during like parts of it. Like he was really into like the Big Ange of it all. And he wasn't there for the 2 minutes we decided to take Destiny by the balls and watch Big Ange.
And what is having a morning routine but not taking Destiny by the balls?
Of course.
And
always.
you mentioned that you had a morning routine even during lockdown.
Yeah. So in the beginning of lockdown, I was very fat. I was 276 pounds. I was quite frankly large and in charge. And and like right before that, I already had a work from home job before like lockdown, but like it was going bad, not because of what anything I was doing. Our company was just like losing money, and then we closed down a week before the pandemic. And during that time, I was like, I just need to focus. I'd recently started yoga, so I needed to focus on yoga and dieting. And then like the next week, they were like, there's a disease that will kill us all, so you can't be fat anymore. And I'm like, fuck, I really have to focus on yoga and dieting. And then I did that where I would go on like, you know, like do 10,000 steps a day on my Fitbit, and I would do yoga every morning. And I had like a very like strong routine that I would do throughout the day to like try to make it through like talking to no one ever. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah. I was going to say having a routine was like the most important thing to do during lockdown. You lived with a roommate, but essentially by yourself.
Yeah.
You weren't friends.
That roommate would just stay in his room for like days on end sometimes. So I liked him, but he's like, he just, I think kind of like got withdrawn during, you know, COVID. So like my routine would be, I would wake up and I would do DDP yoga, like a pro wrestler yoga program, DDP. And I
only knew to do that hand motion because I'm friends with you.
That's the diamond cutter. And then I would do one of those like half an hour to like an hour. And then I would eat like a healthy breakfast and I would watch Star Trek and I'd cold brew coffee. And at one point I was so into like weird things like that I was making my own cashew milk. I would buy cashews and I would like blend them, and I would, you know, just I would just have these like unmarked jars of white liquid in the fridge with a roommate I didn't talk to almost ever. And then I'd pour a little bit into my coffee, and then I would drink that, and I would watch Star Trek and consider morals. And then I would go on like a long like 45-minute walk, come back, maybe shower, maybe play video games, eat lunch, you know, healthy lunch, and then I would like play a different video game. You could do anything all day. You could play video games like all day. And then eventually my job came back and that just got folded into whatever the routine was. But like I got through COVID a lot by just being like, these are all the leisure activities I'm going to fill my time with while I have no job. And I get to live off unemployment, I suppose. And I'm also not spending money because I'm not driving or doing anything. So you're just like, all right, this is all the things I'm going to do. And just like playing video games and Animal Crossing and, like listening to Joe Rogan talk about trans people or whatever.
Yes.
Just like really getting deep into COVID stuff.
Considering morals once more.
Yeah, I'm always just considering morals.
That's a perfect get out of jail free card if you're like caught listening to something bad. Not that Rogan is something bad, but you know what I mean. You could be like, I was considering morals. That's the consumer version of I'm just asking questions.
Yeah, I would be there. I'd be lying on the couch playing Animal Crossing, which is debatably a game for girls, where you do nothing. You just like hang out on an island all day while Rogan talks about trans sports, a thing I barely care about, but for like long periods of time. And I would just be playing some like game for girls while the podcast for boys goes on. It was pretty good time.
The duality of man.
Yeah, I had two wolves in me. I quite frankly had two wolves.
The cashew milk was so funny because so I was friends with you before lockdown. So I knew Mark when he was large and in charge. And when you started making all these changes.
Yeah.
Because you started losing weight though, like slightly before the pandemic, I think.
It was like 2 weeks before I started. Yeah. I started like 2 weeks before because I had all this downtime because our job was company's about to close down. So I was like, I guess I'll start doing yoga and stuff. Now I got all this free time. Yeah. And then after like it closed down, I was like, I guess all I do is yoga now. Yeah.
I think that might have been, I think you would have been on the track anyway.
Okay.
I think you would have lost all the weight, but I think in a weird way, the pandemic helped.
For sure. Yeah. It would definitely help me to like have like a bit of like a bit of a reset. It didn't help everybody, but for me personally, somehow it did help. It kind of like, I was able to just focus on, I think probably what I should do if I cared more about my health is take like a month off of everything at some point and just do exercise and then get back into things. But I will never do that.
I disagree with that.
You think so?
I think it almost puts too much pressure on yourself, I think. Because also if you're not doing stand up, if you're not like having fun meals every once in a while, it's sort of like you need to keep your serotonin up to be able to work out and eat healthy and all that stuff.
Which is why I can't do it. I go like a few days without doing stand up and I'm just like start getting weird. You know, I'll be like, I gotta just get on stage.
If I don't do stand up for long enough, I will start talking to strangers. And what a hell that. And New Yorkers do not like that.
You start riding the bus and just talking to people. Yeah. You're allowed to talk to people on the bus for some reason, but not in the subway.
Interesting.
And that people would talk to me sometimes in the bus, but never on the subway. So
I was at a party.
Okay.
And I was talking to a woman. It was a girl-boy party.
All right.
God damn, that's just something you would say.
What?
I just pick up your
girl boy party.
That is, I mean, if you haven't said that, you might as well have said that. It's a very Mark Henley thing to say.
Yeah, because it's like a thing people say in like 6th grade. Well, like if you're going to a party, and because back then you could have like segregated parties. You could have like boy,
by gender,
girl. Yeah. You wouldn't have like certainly not race, but you could do it by gender. In fact, it was encouraged. You know, you wouldn't have girls at the party, but every once in a while you get invited to a boy girl party. Then that's like a whole different thing. You know?
Boy parties. Oh, that's upsetting.
That just sounds like you're having a party for only boys, but it's also a hookup party.
It's a gay party. Yeah. Boy party is like what I think is coded language, but it's not coded. Like everyone knows what it is.
Having a bit of a boy and boy party, and we're like, what? Boy party, you just play Tony Hawk Pro Skater in the basement.
Oh,
but boy party, you play, something else in the basement.
Yeah. A regular boy party, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3.
Yeah.
Snacks.
Yes.
Probably like fruit roll-ups, maybe the dinner Lunchables. Lunchable, but it's like salami. I don't know why I think that's dinner Lunchables.
You mean like the pizza Lunchables?
Yes. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. You're eating Lunchables, and then
you ever have the pizza Lunchables cold?
I think you can do that, right?
They tell you you're allowed to, but it's always so much more gross than if you just warm them up.
Well, it's like they say, and I think I learned this embarrassingly late in life, that you could eat hot dogs roll. It's basically like rolled up bologna.
Is it?
Like, yeah, it's the same thing. But you should heat them up because it's gross if you don't. But if you eat a raw hot dog, you're not going to get sick.
That's true.
You might get turned on.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to eat some raw hot dogs on the way home.
just not even chewing, like straight into your mouth like a fucking snake.
And I'm just going to be sitting there mumbling to myself about how I'm going raw dog. Going raw dogging.
The big dog is raw dog.
Going raw dogging.
So yeah,
I used to work at a supermarket, and this really fat dude one time was outside the supermarket eating Chef Boyardee, you know, like the tomato stuff, the spaghetti, like out of the can cold. And I was like, that's gross. He's like, you're actually allowed to do this. And I'm like, I guess. And I tried it, and it is okay. Got so much water on yourself in that. That's it. It's like you did like the tiniest spit take. You can eat Chef Boyardee cold.
For those just listening, I did do a spit take. God damn, I think that will not be. I'll mop up the floor after the podcast. I think there'll be multiple spit takes. So I was at this girl boy party.
Okay.
And I was talking to this girl, which is like, it's probably something with the intent to maybe sleep with her, which is something I haven't done, I think, in just rubbing your hands together.
Okay.
Which is maybe something I haven't done in like literal years because of dating apps. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I was at a party, a girl boy party, and I'm like, this is where I'm supposed to do it. You know, people are swimming. I didn't swim because I'm not taking my shirt off in public. But
Why not?
It's not time yet. One day it'll be time.
I think you gotta come to terms with your body.
Are you? That's the clip I want to introduce the episode. Is just you saying that to me. The truth is, actually, I did just forget my swimsuit.
Yeah.
It's funnier to say I'm too shy to take my shirt off.
The thing I said too is also not helpful because you're like the thing I should have said is like, no, you look great. You've been working out. I'm like, you have to come to terms with your body.
It's like you have a gun to my head.
I'm not saying you look good. I'm not saying you look bad, but you have to come to terms.
We're just alone in a desert for some reason, and I have a shovel, and you're like, it's time to come to terms with your body.
Because that's the type of thing I would say to myself when we're close enough friends that I'm like, I'll say it to him too. And then I'm like, maybe I shouldn't have said that.
No, I think I will come to terms with my body. I have been showing people my belly as a bit, but it's low key to show that I sort of have abs.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean? But anyway, I'm talking to this girl, and the reason I thought of this story, because you're saying you can't talk to people on the subway.
Yeah.
Because I had no reason to talk to her, and it wasn't even organic. She just happened to be like by herself, and she's pretty.
Yeah.
So I just walked up to her, and it started doing like almost like, you know, interview questions, but you got to do something, right?
Yeah.
So, and there was kind of this energy where she was like, I know what you're doing.
Yeah.
But we're at a party.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's so interesting to me that if you put this situation underground, it's totally unacceptable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think part of it is because we're complete strangers as opposed to like, we both know the guy that owns the house at this party.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
You've been vetted at least a little bit.
I've been somewhat vetted.
And people on the subway are also vetted, but it's only if they have 275. Or the bravery to hop the turnstile.
I accidentally hopped a turnstile in front of a police officer.
Oh, did you?
And I didn't get a ticket.
Wait, do you hop? I know you hop turnstiles.
So I don't I don't hop the turnstile generally, but I will if it's expedient.
Okay.
There are two situations in which I'll hop a turnstile. If I scan my card and it doesn't work, and then I scan it again and it says just used.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, well, fuck you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to stand here for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I did my best.
Yeah.
I paid my monthly car. I actually pay the monthly amount.
Wow.
Yeah. Does that make me better than some people listening? Yes.
If you pay the monthly, you should never have to hop the turnstile.
Yeah. No, but if it will say like just used.
Yeah, I've gotten that. Yeah.
So that's the scenario in which I've jumped the turnstile a couple of times. The second one, which is one where the cop saw me do it, was Halloween. Because Halloween, it was just packed.
Yeah.
Like chaos in the train station, and people are drunk, dressed up like kittens or whatever.
Yeah.
And also like something happens with people when they're in groups where they don't know how to walk. They don't know how to stand.
Sure.
They don't. So no one's doing anything to help the situation of how crowded the station is. I go to use it and it says you're out of time.
Yeah.
And so I have to refill it. And there was just no me refilling it at the kiosk.
Yeah.
There's just it wasn't gonna happen. So I'm like, fuck it. I'm jumping the turnstile. And as my feet are going over the turnstile, I make eye contact with multiple police officers, and I just left. And some people are gonna interpret that as white privilege, and it might be. But I think the more likely explanation is that was the least of their worries on Halloween.
Yeah, they're too, but they're there to keep safe, not to like make sure they get all the monies.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only scenario where I would hop the turnstile is if I think I can get away with it.
You can say that about anything.
If I think I can get away with it for any reason at all, I will do it. There are certain like path stations in New York that I basically know they don't have police at. So I don't do like the, like the athletic, like hop over it. I like do like the little one where you pull forward and you like walk through. I've got like thick old legs. So I just like stumble through it. It's probably very conspicuous, but I do that.
The hopping it feels very cool.
Yeah.
The few times that I've done it, but I am afraid. Well, first of all, I'll pay it. I don't mind paying it, but I'm afraid if I'm a person that does it every day, that hops the turnstile every day, that eventually my legs will get caught on the turnstile and I'll fall on my face. And I think there is no person less sympathetic than the guy that broke his nose trying to hop the turnstile.
Yeah. I do sometimes also shoplift.
Really?
But yeah, sometimes if I think I can get away with it.
Huh.
Sometimes this is a bad part of my brain is if I think I can get away with it, sometimes I'm like, dude, you got to.
Guys, don't clip this and take it out of context.
Yeah. One time I was shoplifting. I shouldn't tell anyone this because I think it's unlikable. And also it doesn't work out for me in the end. I shoplifted a dozen Diet Cokes, like store brand Diet Cokes.
It's so funny because there's no like scenario in which they see the Diet Cokes and they're like, well, he's got to feed his kids.
You know what? You put them on the bottom of the cart.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't think they'll see it on the bottom of the cart. So I just like, did it and I put it next to the thing and then they didn't see it and I walked out with it and it was raining outside. So I got all my stuff in the car real quick and then I left. And then after I left, I realized I didn't put the Diet Cokes in the car. And they were in like a cardboard, like a thin cardboard. So all I did was I took Diet Cokes outside into the parking lot and then let the rain just dissolve the cardboard so that the cans could roll all over the place. I just like stole to make a mess.
It's for no reason other than to create chaos.
Yeah.
Someone watching you, I don't know who would watch you do this entire thing, but if
Sure.
they did, I don't think they would put it together that it was an accident. They'd be like, oh, you just wanted to do something so you could do it.
Yeah, they saw all the details. They saw me do it. And I was just like, I don't even like Diet Coke.
It's sort of, you ever see like a grown adult, they like open a piece of candy or whatever, and they throw the wrapper on the ground. And it's like, but they'll do it with this like, fuck the world. And I'm like, that's fine, I guess.
Yeah.
It makes you feel good. At least with the stealing the Diet Coke, you get free Diet Coke.
Yeah, that is cool. It is cool.
It probably tastes better.
I forget if I steal it or not. I also stole a shirt one time at Target because it didn't have a tag on it. And just
was it red? You just put it on and pretend like you work there?
I work here. And I left. Like, who are you? When I ran out the door. They didn't have a tag on it. And I was at self-checkout and I couldn't get the eye of the guy at the self-checkout. So I was just like, I'm just leave with it. And then, but every time I do it, I always have in my head, if they catch me, I'm just going to be like, it always becomes then like, well, what do I say to them? And, that's the big scenario that comes through my head. Like, what do I say to them?
Yeah.
And I'll just be like, I'll just tell them I thought I could get away with it.
I honestly think they would.
What do they say to that? There's something you could do to that. Like, oh, sorry, I thought I'd get away with it.
If anything,
I'll pay now.
If anything, they would be happy that there's no pageantry. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's probably better to be like, I thought I'd get away with it. I'll just pay now. Sorry.
Yeah. It's also they might actually think you're literally autistic if you do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's
Why
no
did
tag.
you steal? I didn't
think.
think you'd see me.
Yeah. And it's supposedly Target. You can steal a certain amount of money from Target. You can steal like a few $100s worth of merchandise at Target, but it's because they realized, as a corporation, they can't really process you if you only steal like $40. So they wait till you steal enough money that they can make a real case against you. It's actually very dangerous long-term to steal from Target long-term.
Oh, I see. So they'll keep tabs on a shoplifter.
Supposedly, yeah. Or if you work for the store and like, let's say you're like, I can just steal every video game. If you start doing that, they'll let you do it long enough that they can prosecute you and get you to like real jail.
Okay. So I that makes sense for employees, but I imagine like you're taking a chance with like a customer.
Yeah.
Because who knows I guess if they get away with it, they will keep coming back until they get caught.
Yeah. And I guess they have a way of building a case. Maybe I've already got a file because I stole that one t-shirt.
I'm sure they don't have a picture of you. And this man
Stole, yeah.
I fucking don't know how to talk. It's
You
too
don't
bad
think-
I want to be a podcaster.
You don't think they have face recognition at the Jersey City Target where I sold the anime t-shirt? That was also it too. It was an anime t-shirt.
It's perfect. Diet Coke's anime t-shirt. It's not even
Nothing useful.
Yeah, it's almost like I think there's two types of shoplifters. There's the guys stealing like bulk baby formula.
Yeah.
And so my dad's a supermarket manager. I'm certainly not going to tell him about this episode. But back when film was like camera film was more popular, people would steal camera film because that was a big item that they would actually keep it locked up. Cigarettes, stuff like that. So career. I don't want to say career criminals because it's like petty criminal, but like the guys that like
call them what they are.
Yeah. If you're listening, turn it off right now. But then there's guys like you who are doing it for the love of the game.
Yeah.
You and I want to say teenagers.
Yes. Yeah. It's a very teenager, but also housewife way of stealing.
Yes.
Where you're like, just like, let's see if I can get away with it. Ha ha ha.
Mm-hmm.
I did see. He probably doesn't want me telling people about this, so maybe you want to edit it out. But Matt Marin, for Comedy Fight Club.
May he live forever.
We were at the grocery store and he stole like some candy bars at the self checkout, which for some reason I found very endearing because it's like childlike to steal like to just like be like just put a bunch of candy bars in your pocket and then eat them on the car ride home immediately.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's not a thing of like you don't need candy bars. So
it's what a kid would steal.
Yeah.
Because when you're a little kid, you're not going to be like, it's you're not like I'm going to steal the rump roast because that's going to bring great value and many dinners to the family. It's just like what would taste good in my mouth right now. So you just take the candy.
I'm a good boy. I'd be racked with guilt if I stole one candy bar.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
But also you're trying to be hot, so you can't eat candy bars more.
That's true. Well, if I stole a protein bar, I'd be equally as upset with myself. But speaking of becoming a hot jock, I feel like that's another commonality that you and I have is that we're late in life workout guys.
Yes.
We're I almost said quarter life crisis, but let's be real, more like third life crisis.
Yeah, the way I look at it is like I did it too late, so I'll never be truly hot.
I don't know if that's true.
So I'll just be like, I can just be kind of like I think I got big arms right now, but like I'm still like fat. I'm just not gonna. I don't have enough of a base. So like I eat really clean up until dinner and then I ruin it all. Like basically every day. That's my plan.
Yeah, it's almost like some people they're like when the sun goes down, I open up that bottle, but you're like when the sun goes down, I open up that bag of chips.
Yeah, not even a bag of chips. So I eat I eat oatmeal protein powder for breakfast, and then I have
people write this down, please.
Write this down, and then I have like some chicken and raw vegetables, and green tea for lunch, and then like kombucha and like maybe some like yogurt around like snack time, and then at dinner I just eat whatever I want.
That's not it's not a bad way because at least 2/3 of the day is proper.
I think it's healthy in some ways. The real issue I have is because I do stand up. It's like a lot of like late night eating. Sometimes like I'll like drive to like some faraway place and then like you drive back and you're like, well, I have to eat or drink something or I will crash the car.
Yes. You don't want to crash the car because that's not good for gains.
Yeah. And then you do a bunch of them. And then like anytime I do a show like that ends like after 10 p.m. I'm like, I gotta stop at the quick check. And then I stare at all the calories in the quick check until I do a thing that I decide is not too high in calories, but that's whatever it is on any given day. Some days I'm like really good and I'll have like a V8 and something that's like under 200 calories. Like I'll get a V8 and like peanut butter like crackers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm fucking doing it. And then other days I'm like, well, I got a Diet Coke and like it's only like 400 calories of candy, so I think we're good.
Yeah. It's probably documented doctor recommended.
Yeah, you drink 400 that you get 2 big cup Reese's.
The guy just has his clipboard. He's like, I've been looking at your chart. I have to ask, do you eat enough candy? Are you eating candy?
Well, because they really innovate with big cup Reese's. We talked very privately about big cup Reese's.
Actually, if we could keep this between us, I'd appreciate it.
Well, what's your feeling about, because you don't like big cup Reese's, right?
I do.
Yes.
I do, but I appreciate the decadence of them.
Yeah.
So here's my relationship to big cup Reese's is that Reese's is my favorite candy, by the way.
Yes.
Reese's peanut butter, every iteration of Reese's, I love it. Then one day, I found that instead of getting 2 regular size in a package, of the peanut butter cups, you get one big cup.
Yes.
And I was like, well, it's the same thing. If anything, it's more efficient and it's more peanut butter, and the peanut butter is my favorite part.
So to me, it's like I like to eat the food longer, so I kind of like the two of them.
Okay.
But the big cup is by undoubtedly, because it's more peanut butter, so much more satisfying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We'll keep going.
And then I had said to myself as a joke one day, we're gonna have like a package of 2 big cups.
Yeah.
And then I was like, no, that's too much. And then lo and behold, they're in the store. You know how they have the package of the 4 regular size big cups? I've seen a package of 4 big cups. And I think if anybody is caught buying one of those, they should be like put on a psychiatric hold. Things are not going well for them.
Well, because it makes sense where you're like, I love the big cup, but I wish there were 2 because the other one was 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get the 2 and then you're like, yeah, but I could probably eat a third. And then you all of a sudden you have like all these things. You know, they've been putting new things in the big cups.
The Reese's Pieces.
They have Reese's Pieces, but they also have, get this, potato chip ones. They have pretzel ones, and they have Cocoa Puff ones. No, Reese's Puff ones.
See, this is the issue, is that the American scientists are doing this, and the Chinese scientists.
The American scientists are like, how do we get them to eat big cups again? We need them to eat all the big cups. And let me tell you, the potato chip one is the best one. That one is by far the best. And then second is pretzel. And then third is the Reese's Puff one. The Reese's Puff one is actually not that good.
Okay.
It's still good because it's still a big cup Reese's, but it's just like with a little more texture.
Mm-hmm.
But the saltiness of the potato chip one, that's really good.
Now, would you say you're a big fan of candy in general?
I became actually a bigger candy person after I started like losing weight. I think it's because like once you actually start looking at calories, you start going to like a convenience store and you're like, I'm going to do something I shouldn't do.
Mm-hmm.
What's the lowest calorie thing that I can do? Candy actually kind of comes out high-ish on that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where like you can kind of like look at the numbers and kind of trick yourselves into being like, a Snickers bar is kind of food, and then go for it.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I'll kind of do more candy now than I would back in the day, because it's like because back when I was like heavy, my favorite snack was like a 20-ounce soda and chips.
Yeah.
20-ounce soda and chips is so good.
The soda is what regular soda, not diet soda, is what does you in, I think.
You think so?
I think drinking calories in general.
Yeah.
If you're not, I have a theory that if anybody is drinking a regular soda, not a diet soda, they do not count calories.
Okay.
Because if they downloaded my fitness app and put in Pepsi, they would be like 400. That's like half a meal. I'm drinking half a meal right now. That being said, I legitimately prefer the taste of diet soda now, and I know people will say that that's Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah, once you get off the regular full sugar sodas, it feels weird to go back. Like every once in a while, I'll have like a full sugar one, and I'm always like, this feels weird. Like it doesn't feel right. Like because if you're drinking the full sugar, the diet tastes gross. But once you get off of it, your body doesn't know how to handle the full sugar sodas anymore. You only know how to handle the diet.
So when I've spoken to people that have lost a bunch of weight, I always ask them what the most difficult part is. I think you may have already answered it, which is when it gets late.
Yes,
you want to eat because you've always been physically active.
No.
Oh.
No, when I was my heaviest, I stopped being physically active. So I was like physically active when I was younger. When I was younger, I would like, not like, I was never athletic. So I would like go on walks. I would like longboard and stuff. So I would do some things. And then when I was at my heaviest, I wasn't like really walking at all. For a long time, I had a job where I had like an hour-long commute there and back from work. So I wasn't really active then either.
Yeah.
So like, I stopped being physically active and I stopped like moving around a lot. So like, just like doing yoga and like walking, it's almost like I need to like teach my body how to like move again. And then that's what got me like way lower in weight, because my body was just like taking on calories because I wasn't doing anything. Okay. And now that I'm like still more active, I kind of like, my body's like, okay, I guess we have to be light enough to do these things.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So one like influences the other.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Because if you're like, if I start eating more than is healthy and I start gaining weight, it's going to be harder to do these physical activities that I like.
Yeah. I think the hardest part about like, the late night stuff is hard, but like, I think the hardest part is like really getting yourself off of wanting to eat junk food. Like once you can do that, like I have no temptation to like have a bad food at breakfast. That was like the first thing I fixed was I would have like eggs every day. And then I was like, well, I'm never going to like just randomly get donuts now.
Yeah.
Or randomly just have like a pancake and other stuff. Like this girl I'm seeing stayed over last night. Very cool. And
Tell us more about this.
and like we're talking about like dinner last night, and I was like, there's one place that has like cereal and pancakes. And I thought she'd like that. I was gonna order it. But I was like, maybe she'll like that. And then she's like, well, maybe we could do that for brunch tomorrow. I'm like, there's no way. I have to have only healthy stuff during the day.
Oh.
So I was like, we're not gonna do that. And she had to like leave early anyway. Okay. So I was like, we're not gonna do that. So he was like, we can either go to dinner or I'm not gonna have like I'm not gonna eat a bunch of cereal. Like I would never do like IHOP for breakfast.
Interesting.
But I'd have it for dinner.
So okay. So you're doing like, there's a time limit.
Yeah.
Not a time limit. There's rules for how your day is structured, and it's almost because you'll be tempted in the evening that you.
Yeah, I can't open certain. If I open a certain door to be like, this is now an acceptable food to consume, it's like really hard to close again. I had a energy drink when I was driving back from a show in Connecticut, and let me tell you, it was great. It was so good. It tasted delicious. I wasn't tired at all during the drive. But I didn't have trouble going to sleep when I got home. I basically, as I was driving at one point, I was like, I'm very tired, but I don't feel it because I'm not this is letting my body not acknowledge that we're tired.
Okay.
And then when I got home, I was asleep immediately. But like, I can't do that again. But I know I can. I know I have it within me to talk myself into at all times. Be like, I want to get an energy drink, dude. Like,
yes,
because I do one show like all the time that's like an hour away, and I could very easily get into a habit where like on the way home every time I'm like, let's get an energy drink. Let's fucking get hyped. And
once, yeah, the good thing about having a routine is that you have structure. But if you introduce something not so healthy into the routine, the way I think our brains work similar, and they're like, well, now that's part of the routine too.
It's not driving home unless you have an monster.
I also I have this thing with bad food, or just anything that could be detrimental. There's a Charles Bukowski quote.
Okay.
Do you know Bukowski?
The Road.
Is that a book by him?
Or is it On the Road? I don't know who this guy is.
Oh, okay. He's he was a writer in the 60s and 70s, I think. And he's an alcoholic. Okay. And he has this line about alcohol, but I think it could be applied to anything. And I'm roughly paraphrasing, but he says that's the problem with alcohol, is that when we're depressed, we drink to make ourselves happy. Yeah. When we're happy, we drink to celebrate. And when we're bored, we drink to make something happen. Yeah. Like, I think that is like, can sometimes be your relationship to food or sex or whatever.
Yes. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I have that too, where like it's always like, oh man, it's a stressful day. I gotta have something. I'm not gonna worry about what a healthy thing to eat. It's too stressful today. And then you're like, we had a great show. Like, let's have had a good show. Let's have a fucking some sodas and stuff. I did a show. I was doing a Midwest tour with our friend Ben Miller, and
I'm gonna try to drink water again, by the way.
All right, and one of the most fun parts of it was like, we did a show in St. Louis. We were driving back, and I got like a diet Mountain Dew and spicy Funyuns, and then we put on like the new Big J Crowdwork special. We was like watching it. He was driving. I was watching it like in a little thing, and like listening to it and just like having a good ass time, like eating snacks and driving. Man, that was a good time.
That does sound like a good time. Yeah, you can't deny yourself the eating spicy Fritos. Yeah, and having fun with friends. It's all about balance, because I think if you go too far in one direction. Sure, yeah. Yeah, I do know that there is a limit. Like if it's affecting having fun with friends, you gotta take a step back. I do realize though, like if I'm like you said, like, oh, I'm having a stressful day, I gotta have a treat. But if you push back that feeling, you'll get the dopamine rush from not having had the treat. If that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. But at a certain point, you got to have the treat.
You just got to have the treat.
You got to have the treat.
Guys, if you're out there, have the treat. Have a treat right now. Go to the fridge.
So we're both late in life exercise guys. So we're similar in that respect. We're different in that I'm a gym guy and you're a home workout guy.
Yeah, I work from home, so I know that I'll work out basically every day if all I have to do is walk across the room and just start lifting weights. I don't think it's as good, because if I had like, there's certain exercises, like things that are hard to work out with that equipment. Like your back delts are really hard to do because you have to like basically balance all of your body right
Mm-hmm.
to work those out in any type of way. And you have to use like very like low weights. Whereas like at the gym, there's one thing for back delts. You just like blast out like 70-pound things like real easily.
Yeah.
And it's like all balanced and you feel like fucking strong as hell. And you feel like you actually feel it the next day. But like, yeah, it's hard to like really get the all over thing. Sometimes I think about going like full, cause you know, I'm going to be in Scotland for a month for Fringe. So sometimes I think like I should be spending all this time working on only doing calisthenics. So when I go over there, I could just do like a full calisthenics program.
Like what are those homeless guys in the park in New
Yeah,
York
I
City?
should be a homeless guy in the park.
You got to get fully into it, like harassing women when they walk by you.
I did it last year when I was at Fringe. I brought like, you know, the resistance bands with me,
Mhm.
and then I would go to the park and I would use them and then do different push-up variations, and I would play without headphones, just into the ether, DMX songs.
Hell yeah.
I would be like, I'm gonna bring a little New York to Scotland. And I would just be like doing dips off a park bench and stuff. But like the weird thing is like it's so windy there, the sound doesn't carry at all.
Okay.
So I feel like you could be like 30, it's not until you got like right up next to me doing it that you would hear like maybe like a faint version of like X gonna give it to you or whatever I was listening to in the park.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, it's just it's fun, I think.
Yeah.
We should go to the park after this and lift weights.
I think we got our post podcast.
It's too hot actually. We can't do
It
that.
is, dude. Oh my god. That is the nice thing about a couple different reasons why I like to go to the gym to work out. And part of them is that I live in a New York City apartment where I only have the air conditioning in my room, but not in the common areas.
That's rough, yeah.
Yeah, don't move to New York City. It's too hard. But so like I know if I go to the gym, it will be air conditioned. In fact, the one I go to, sometimes it's too cold.
Oh,
but that's
good.
better than being too hot when you're working out.
Yeah, I like that.
I think so.
Yeah. Do you think I should become a gym guy?
I feel like whatever works best for people with working out. So if especially because you work from home and you're like, I can't, if the weights are right there, I'm going to work out.
Yeah.
For me, I did the home workouts when when it was illegal to go to the gym during lockdown. But I feel like part of the ritual,
Yeah.
I look forward to. Like I look forward to saying hi to the people that I see when I check in. I like changing. I like listening to music. I like it that it's the Planet Fitness in Union Square, so I could be like a little crazy. Like if I kind of want to rap along to what I'm listening to, no one's gonna look at me. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
possibly the most important factor is in my apartment, there's no hot girls, but at the gym there are hot girls.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What do you do? What do you do about it?
Oh, I just look at them,
Okay.
but not for too long.
Yeah.
I do the 5-second rule. That's what
Yeah.
the 5-second rule is, where you don't stare at a woman for more than 5 seconds.
That's
The Union
smart.
Square Planet Fitness, by the way, is fucking. It's so interesting because, for those unfamiliar, Planet Fitness is like the cheapest gym, and in New York you could go for $10. So a lot of homeless people just go so they could shower,
Yeah.
and some of them actually do work out. So you got homeless people.
Like, I'm here to shower, and then they're like, you know, I got to bench a little bit though too.
Yeah. I think most homeless guys are, but they're like the top level. Like they probably live in their car, which isn't to say that they're like doing awesome. But
Well, it's weird because there's van life people are technically homeless,
Mhm.
but like that's not the same as being a homeless guy.
no, oh, these are guys that they would like to not be homeless.
Yeah. Van
Mhm.
life is like I had an apartment, and then I like crunched the numbers, and I
Mhm.
figured if I spend $40,000 now,
Mhm.
then I never have to pay rent again.
Car
like-
life would be so funny if it was just like a guy addicted to crack, and he was like, "This is car life. This is my car. It's not
This
a
is the
lot in
best
here."
you can get to crack at any moment you want. You can get crack in other cities if you want. You can just drive there, stay up all night, get more crack there.
Please don't forget to like and subscribe so I could get monetized so I could buy more crack.
Drive it. Dude, smoking crack's probably pretty fun.
Yeah.
I don't know too much about this, but there's been like an image going around of Hunter Biden,
Mhm.
and he like smokes crack and like drives his car real fast.
Mhm.
That's cool, right?
Yeah, dude.
That's like not cool to you though, I imagine.
it is cool. What I think an additional element that I think makes it even cooler
Yeah.
is that his dad is the president and he's like actively making his dad's life harder. I think that's so funny.
Yeah, he's like Bam Margera.
Yeah. So,
Everyone's like,
this-
your parents are so nice. Why are you so mean to them? And he's like driving his car doing crack, taking selfies.
Who's
What do you
Bam's
do with
dad?
Hunter Biden? Whatever the fuck I want. Bam's dad is Phil Margera.
So in this metaphor, Biden is Phil.
Yeah. Damn it, Hunter. Don't beat the crap out of me while I'm naked on the toilet.
I've never smoked crack. I have done coke.
I've never smoked crack either.
We just both look into the camera. Like, but I did coke once while I was drinking. So for those that don't know, I'm a recovering alcoholic. So I used to drink a lot. And one time, I never sought out drugs, really.
Yeah.
I smoked weed when I was younger, but once I found alcohol, I'm like, this is legal. I don't have to be friends with a dealer. This is easy.
Yeah.
And I like the feeling of being drunk. But one time, I drove a woman home, and as a thank you, she gave me a baggie of Coke. I don't know how much, but I just kept it around. I was like, maybe I'll do it. And I was at a New Year's Eve party at my parents' house, actually. My parents were away. I'm a full grown adult. I'm like 20, 21.
Sure.
No, I'm over 21 at this time. And I fucking start getting drunk. And then I'm like, I'm going to do a little coke. Because they say, you know, if you do coke while you're drinking, you could drink for longer. And I kept going downstairs to do more coke without doing any sort of research. So I could have done a dangerous amount. I don't know. I also blacked out. So I don't remember what I don't remember what I was doing. But I am told that after everyone went downstairs to go to sleep, that I was walking around upstairs for literally the entire night doing something. I don't know what I was doing. And I woke up feeling good, but also had the thought, I could never do coke again. Like literally, even though I continued drinking alcoholically for years, I was like, I'm not touching that wonderful substance that will ruin
went
my
too
life.
well, but it's not going to every time.
Yeah. Yeah. I also, I woke up without a hangover, which at that point in my life, I was starting, because you get older, you get bad hangovers.
Sure, yeah.
And I woke up without a hangover. I don't know if the two things are related, but I also remember being creeped out by that, because I feel like you should be punished for getting intoxicated in a way. You know what I mean? Like you should wake up and your head should hurt.
It's very Irish of you.
Yeah.
Should hurt.
Because if you get like zero hangovers, then you know, that's one less incentive to not get like blackout. There's other incentives.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Here's my thing with, I know it's not a political show, but here's my thing with the Hunter Biden is smoking crack and why it's a problem thing is like,
oh wait, this is a hot take. You think him smoking crack is bad?
No, I think like when conservatives are like, Joe Biden is bad because his son smokes crack and drives his car too fast. Mm-hmm. It doesn't work for me to be like, you know what? I don't like Joe Biden because one, I think it is kind of cool. And then two, like, could you imagine if you were at work and someone's like, this person, they shouldn't work here anymore. And you're like, why? And they're like, their son smokes crack. You would be like, what the fuck are you doing? Why would you bring that into this? It's like really inappropriate.
Yeah, that is hilarious.
Yeah.
That's it's almost like in the US Constitution, they say that the only person that could go to jail for a crime is the person that committed the crime.
Yeah.
Which was like revolutionary back then because
it was a Revolutionary War.
Yes. And it was also because at the time, like in England, if you fact check this, you know what? Don't fact check this. But used to, if you fucked up, your dad and your son could also like go to jail.
Okay, yeah.
It was so. I feel like it's sort of a leftover version of that, where it's like, you think Biden's great? Well, someone near him is doing something bad.
There's this story about this one guy, and he was like, his father committed a crime, so he was actually born in jail.
Okay,
and then he
Where
like.
Was this?
It was like down in Mexico. He was like born in jail, and then he like came up through the jails where he like became like very big and very strong, and he got like he became more powerful and became a leader of the gym, and he eventually like escaped. And that man was Bane.
God damn it! You took full advantage of me not knowing superhero
and
stuff.
then he used it to break Batman's back. You like knew it was going. It wasn't real. You're like, where was this? I'm like, Mexico.
I was like, oh wow, I didn't know they did that in Mexico. And I know I'm in the minority of people that didn't see that coming. So the listeners just enjoyed me getting the coal raked over my eyes.
But I think I know it's not real, but I think because of that, I think you shouldn't.
Okay.
It didn't work out well for Bane. Why would it work out well for somebody else?
In North Korea, they still do that.
They put you to jail if your dad does something bad.
I believe the punishment if you get caught doing something is you are in a labor camp for your whole life, as is any children that you have or will have, and any grandchildren that you have or will have.
Oh, damn.
Which I'm going to go on record as saying that that's wrong.
Yeah, that's a little too much.
Yeah, if you're listening in North Korea, I assume you have a VPN. That's very, very impressive.
Yeah. Hello. If you're listening in North Korea, first off, hello.
Hello. Konnichiwa. That's Japanese. Would you ever go to North Korea?
I would love to go to North Korea. Like to look around. I'd love to go there and then get like the tour where they're all like, look at the supermarket we have and like all that stuff. Like I'd love to go in there and then like leave. But it's probably a objectively bad idea.
You can so like the US Department of State says like don't do this.
Yes.
But it's not illegal to do it. Like if you're American, you can go to North Korea, but Americans like we kind of can't help you if you get into a thing.
Yeah.
But there's a Chinese company. And this is where I forget his name, but I think it's Otto Wardomir or something. You guys can Google it. American kid that died in North Korea. Because he went with this Chinese company and he went out drinking in North Korea.
Yeah.
Which I feel like if you're in North Korea, watch your alcohol consumption. You should have like all your inhibitions.
Yeah. No, if I go to North Korea, I part of it is I think I could get in and out. I think I could get in, go on the tour, listen to all the rules and break none of them.
Yes.
I think I can go in there and then just like, if they're like, hey, don't go outside till this time, I'm just doing push-ups in my apartment and reading like Stephen King books. And then I go out.
They might not let you bring the Stephen King book.
They can't read Stephen King books. What books do I have to read?
Probably like
Korean books.
Yeah.
It also just be so weird because I don't speak Korean. So just be there looking at people that are like suffering. It actually might be very sad to go to North Korea.
I think they would keep you away from the suffering. Like you said, they would show you like the supermarket, like in their interview. But they do have, because I looked into it. Are you
going to go?
No, I'm not going to go. And the reason I'm not going to go is because I have this laughing at a funeral complex. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where if like you're not supposed to laugh, if something funny happens, it's going to be harder for me not to laugh.
Oh yeah, me and you in North Korea probably have a tough time getting out.
Yeah, because we'll just be doing bits the whole time. And North Koreans famously anti-bit.
They don't like bits.
They don't like bits.
Yeah. They didn't like the interview.
They did.
That's the most controversial movie of all time. People like to dismiss it as being like a bad comedy, but it like legitimately caused an international incident. People think they're edgy, but nothing was edgier than the interview. That's actual edgy comedy.
It could like fucking Department of State in the US was like, will we get nuked?
Yeah.
And it's because it's James Franco
and Seth Rogen.
And
they're like, should we kill the North Korean president? And some countries are like, you're actually not allowed to.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to spend millions of dollars making a movie where you ask that question. And then film it happening.
I actually kind of see his side of the story now.
Yeah.
Because to me, I'm like, okay, they make fun of him for being fat and liking basketball, but I'm like, oh yeah, the whole premise of the movie is that they're assassinating him.
Yeah, and we don't like that. It's just foreign to us here. We're like Kathy Griffin, people got mad at her when she was like, this is Trump's head.
Yeah.
Some people got mad at her. Some people liked it. I liked it. I don't care about anything. But like some people got mad at her, but then like they didn't do anything. They just were like mad at her.
Yeah.
And then like other people were like, oh, let's not go to her shows. And maybe she got taken off Twitter. I don't really remember what they did. But like the department wasn't like, let's put her in jail. They were just like, sometimes you think about killing the president.
Yeah.
As a joke.
It is, you sort of take it for granted, like in the West, in general and in America specifically, is like you can kind of say almost whatever you want.
Yeah.
I think that is very nice.
Yeah. It is nice.
Yeah. Hey, CIA agent or FBI agent, whichever one listens to podcasts. Thanks for letting me say whatever I want within reason.
Hey, America, this one's for you.
This one's for you, America. I wouldn't go to North Korea for that reason, because I think I would go with the thought that you had, which is just don't break any of the rules. But I think that North Korea is a bit memeable.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like their fucking favorite instrument is the accordion. Like there's a bunch of, they have funny haircuts. Like I will laugh at some point.
Yeah.
And I think that they will rightfully interpret my laughter as disrespect and put me in a jail.
You'll say all the right things in the interview leading in, where you'll be like, I love North Korea. Kim Jong-un is handsome and I would like to be him. He's so good at golf. Like you'd say all those things, and then you get in there and then you laugh once and they're like, it's being ironic.
Well, and also I feel like
the Brooklyn hipster.
If I get like accused of a crime here, I have like the due process, blah blah blah. So I almost feel like if there's just like another redhead that does something fucked up and they think it's me, like I don't have any recourse. You know what I mean?
You worry that there'll be like an evil doppelganger of you there?
Yeah.
But he doesn't even look like you because they think we all look alike too.
He has brown hair.
Yeah,
he's like 6'2".
You guys could be brothers.
That's how the American guy that ended up dying. He actually died in America, but because he was in a North Korean prison camp.
Yeah.
This is a whole thing, but he ended up. They have a video of him. He went. Okay, so they have like state-funded hotels for foreigners. And if you want to leave the hotel, you have to go with a chaperone, basically.
Yeah.
Like some guy that works for the government will make sure that you only go to the nice supermarket.
Yes.
And not the bad one. Not the bad one where there's no food. But there was also apparently one floor in the hotel was like only for staff. And this was a big thing. They were like, don't go to floor 6. Like, don't go to floor 6. That's only for the North Koreans that work at this hotel. And so there's footage of this guy going to that floor. And it's all like propaganda posters, which is like very funny.
Yeah.
Because it's all like, you ever see like the World War I propaganda where like the German soldiers look like apes?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like that, but like we're the apes. You know what I mean? And it's just like funny. And there's this giant picture of Kim Jong-un or Kill Him Some or whatever. And he lifts it off the wall.
Yeah.
Tries to take it, but it's too heavy, but then can't mount it back on the wall. So then leaves it on the ground. And if you do that in North Korea, you go to a prison camp for 20 something years. Yeah.
What if you mock him not being able to do the thing?
Yeah. Going to a floor you're not supposed to go on, trying to steal a picture.
Yeah.
And you could watch this on YouTube. There's a quote unquote trial where the American kid is just saying like a statement that quote unquote his lawyers wrote for him, which is that he's part of a secret society that wanted to steal the propaganda poster to not only embarrass North Korea, but part of a CIA operation to dismantle their government. And then after he says like everything, there's a point in every speech where he stands up and bows. And it's the creepiest fucking thing you'll ever see, especially knowing that this kid dies later.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's crazy.
So don't go to North Korea. Is there a country you do want to go to?
Yeah, like all the others. I do kind of want to go to North Korea, but like in the way that like I don't know that I'm ever gonna actually take steps to do it. Yeah. Like if the opportunity was ever like, hey, I got an extra ticket. You want to come to North Korea? I'd be like, yeah. But the second, it's one of those things that's probably like the second I'm like looking into details of it. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna fly to Bangladesh. Yeah. And then get on like a tugboat and go to North Korea, whatever you have to do.
That's my favorite take is I'm not going to North Korea. Too complicated.
Yeah, it's too hard. I was hearing people talk recently about like the submersible, like the submersible, and they're like, would you ever go into it? And like everyone was like, no, I would never, because people are like, it's gonna break, of course. I feel like I would probably get deep into the conversations. Like if someone gave me a free ticket to the submersible, I'd probably be like, yeah, I'll do it. And then like once the details start rolling in, I'd probably be like, yeah, I'm not gonna fly to England or some other thing. I'm like, oh, I'm not. They're like, it's 12 hours and there's no bathroom. I'm like, I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
I'm not. Well, there's so many hoops to jump through.
Yeah, you don't.
I almost look at it like a timeshare where they're like, you can be at the timeshare, but you have to watch a presentation. And you're like, I'm not watching the presentation.
No.
I'm not going to sit in the submersible for 14 hours. It's like, look at the Titanic for, I'm fine. I'll just not have that experience.
You could just Google pictures of the
Just
Titanic.
Google pictures, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They say it's gonna like within a couple hundred years, there's gonna be no Titanic.
Why?
Because there's this type of bacteria that apparently finds ships delicious.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's probably good, you know? Nothing lasts forever, even cold November rain. I think part of my thing is that I like being annoying.
Yeah. Well, that's good. You're good at it.
I'm having trouble now because I'm everyone knows me. I'm the big dog, the BXG DXG.
Mm-hmm.
But then
Does
like,
everybody know that?
I don't know, because it used to be a thing like everyone that like followed me on Instagram and stuff like that knew me personally, so they kind of knew the bit was that I was being annoying, and then new people come in and they're like, he is the big dog.
Yeah.
Like I was doing a mic in Jersey, and then like some guy who I didn't even think had been there for like a couple months, but like I didn't really think about it this way. He was like, next guy, he's the big dog. Everyone calls him that. I don't really know why, but they all do. So I've started doing it too, and he's the big dog. Like, so I'm now at a point where like it's somehow not a bit anymore. It started at all moments it was a bit, and now somehow it isn't. So I need to like figure out a way to like explain to people that that's what it is, which is that like I just like sometimes if I know something's gonna annoy somebody, I'll just say it because it's funny to me.
Yeah.
And then you laugh at it, and that's why we're friends.
Yeah.
You get mad and then you're like, it's funny.
Yeah, that is sort of our relationship. Is you say something annoying, I laugh. I say something fucked up, you laugh.
Yeah.
It's a nice little give and take. To wrap up, because we did talk about working out. Did you work out today?
Yes.
And what body part did you do?
I did a pull day.
Okay.
Which is like a chest. No, it's like no, not chest. It's biceps, back delts, side delts, lats, and then I was doing some pull-ups.
Ooh.
And then I stopped a little bit early because the girl that was staying over, she was like, I'm leaving soon. So I'm like, all right. So then I stopped working out for a bit because she was doing other things. And she's like, I'm leaving soon. I was like, all right, I got to be a normal person for a little bit.
Oh, you're leaving soon? Good. I'm almost done doing pull-ups. Why don't you watch me do my pull-ups shirtless?
I gotta do more pull-ups.
Just trying to impress a woman that is already with you.
Yeah, it doesn't care.
That's cool, man. I actually did.
What'd you do?
My neck,
Your
back, my pussy, and my crack.
You didn't.
What a crazy way to end the podcast. But Mark, the BXG DXG, can you tell people where to find you?
Yeah, I'm Mark Henely, Henely on like Instagram or whatever. If you happen to be in Scotland in August, come to the An American Christmas with the Big Dog.
Yeah. Plug the dates for Fringe.
Oh yeah, I think it's August 4th through August 28th. I'm going to be doing an hour every day at 12:10 in the afternoon. And it's going to be a Christmas show in Scotland. And I'm going to wear a red denim vest the whole time. And I'm going to bring the spirit of Christmas to Scotland every day.
So, guys, then
a compilation show later that day, like a showcase show called American Cheese. I'm trying to be real high up in the listings by alphabet.
Yeah, as you should be, dude. You're at the top of my list as one of the hilarious guys in the tri-state area. New York guy, Jersey guy, soon to be Scotland guy. Guys, if you're in Scotland, go see his Fringe Festival show. It's going to be amazing. I promise that you'll laugh your goddamn dick or pussy off. And follow Mark on Instagram.
Yes, also Comedy Fight Club at Comedy Fight NYC. I'm on that every week.
Hell yeah, dude. Well, guys, thank you for joining us. And remember, early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. I'm just playing night owls. You know I love you.
Thank you.